So today I am putting some blocking in for this garage door. I'll put a screenshot up of what I need to do, but basically it's there to support the rails that hold the garage door and the motor itself. And I've actually got two garage doors to do as well. So yeah, fun times. I've never actually done this before, but there's a plan on the website of how to do it and where they want the blocks, so it should be pretty straightforward. First thing I need to do is find the centre, because that's of course where the motor goes. So that needs to be blocked out, and then the reveals where the rails for the door itself will go. I've measured from the edge of the flat beam to the centre from both sides to confirm that is in fact the centre, and then from there I need blocking there in 1400 and 2800, and the same with the edge of the reveals. So in order to get it to the right height, I'm just using a couple of levels that are clamped to the existing rondo, and then from there I just rest the timber on there, and then I can pack it accordingly so it's sitting at the right height. Oh, I did a reel on this a while ago where I had to move some rondo and put some new rondo in, and someone pointed out that I could just rest the levels on top, and that would have worked in that case. However, in this case it wouldn't work because the timber I'm using is not the same thickness as the rondo, so if I put a level across that, this would be sticking below the rondo. What I'm going to do now is get a 2800 mark along here, but anyone who's tried to reach over with a tape measure and then mark it at the same time without anything to hook on knows it's a wee bit tricky. So what I'm going to do is use the laser. I've set it up at 250 off there. I'll make a mark off the floor, then I'll measure out 2800 minus 250 on the floor and set up my laser there. So now I've got my mark at 2550, which is 2800 minus 250. And the laser shines straight up and gives me a dot on the ceiling that I can work off. Probably should have planed it first, but I forgot. And now I've got shavings all over me. There we go, all done. So this morning we've got some flashings to put up. They are sort of our soffits. They're not really flashings in the full sense of the word. But ordinarily what we would do, well, most of the time you'd have a soffit that comes out way out here, but it's only 100mm, and you've got your cladding or your 20mm cavity, and then your cladding, it comes out probably to about there, so you've only got about 20mm left there. So it'll be a lot of work to put your ribbon board on there and then get your soffit up there, whereas we've had these flashings made and we literally just tuck them in to this groove on the back of the fascia here and nail it onto the wall, easy as. The van out there looking so lonely.
Yeah, Penny. That's what I can't say. You can't hit them sideways.
There's this hammer you can get where you can like, fold the claw down or some weird shit.
Yeah, strong.
No, you wouldn't think so, would you? I wouldn't trust it. Look at that, eh? Looks pretty mint. Most of it's going to be hidden by the cladding, but still a pretty cool detail. So we've got our pre-line inspection later today, and there's something I picked up. I picked it up quite a while ago. It's just one of those little jobs that's never been addressed. So you see here, this is our problem area here. So look at the house, and you can tell those nails in between are our doings, and they are not 480s, whereas at the top they are. I had a quick look at the plans to find out what cladding it was, and then online for the specs, and sure enough the doing spacing was supposed to be 480mm centres. So if you do your measurements all at once and then you go and cut them all at once, makes it a lot quicker. And then to make sure you get each block in the right place, you just number them in order. Hey matey, what you found there? Hey? I'm just going to put this insulation back in. This one I'd already cut. So the reason why I put these dwangs in flat rather than this way is so that we still get some insulation over it. Even though it's a garage, they wanted it insulated. Oh, wrong one. That's what we'll do here. Let's just cut out a section for the dwang, because if you don't, all you're doing is squashing down the existing insulation, and that makes it less effective. Sweet, job done. So you might remember episode 1, I did the attic up here, and there was still all the bracing on here. There was a lot of bracing still in the garage, so we hadn't managed to straighten it. Finally getting to that today. Unfortunately the insulation's in, but that's not a big deal. So what we're doing is anything that's bowing in needs to be planed. Anything that's bowing out, we just put some alphawood on the sheet join. Alright, so I'll give you a quick run through of how we straighten. So, good start, straight edge from sheet to the corner straight. Because if it's not, then the wall's not going to be straight. However, if you're doing a long wall, then you kind of need a datum at the other end. So, go next to the window, check that straight. It is. And then just go along and check. Now that's actually pretty good. Here, I can go down a wee bit. That's pretty good. That doesn't need any tacking or planing there. So we check and make sure there's no other high points. One thing to note is sometimes these studs at the bottom are thin a bit, like there's one there. Just whack that so that it's flush with the bottom plate. Otherwise you're going to end up planing a lot off pointlessly. So I'm happy with that. Then we check the top as well. Here's an example of a wall I straightened earlier. So you see I've put malfoid there where the sheet joins are, so when it gets screwed in it doesn't bow in at those points. And the ones I haven't packed are nice. I didn't need to buzz anything down, but if you do find that your stud is sticking in a bit, then you need to plane the whole length, not just the sheet join. We've got our pre-line happening in just over an hour, and we're still missing a bit of glass, so I've just got to put some ply over one of the windows.
hands in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't have to say that, but it happens.
Oh, that's not right. Surely my measuring's not that bad.
I'll do your bottom left first.
Yeah.
Right, the inspector has just been and we have passed provisionally. So there's a couple of bolts that should have been picked up on a previous inspection that were missing. But I mean, that's not a big deal, so I'll deal with that later on. Alrighty, so it turns out we didn't actually pass. The inspector, I think, sent an email later on saying that we had failed based on 2 engineering issues. So one is definitely not our fault, but the engineers sent us a remedy for it and we'll fix that. I'll probably fix that tomorrow. And oh, that's cool. And the other issue may be our fault, although the plans weren't particularly clear on this issue, but we'll have to solve it anyway. Cam is back next week to give us a hand again. He's been down in Cromwell doing that cladding that I was doing with him last week. Thanks to all my subscribers and thanks for all the likes. I'll catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Cheers.